dancing with the flavor, oh, the flavor that you savor. Savor me for last, but you better not eat me at all. Living in a fast food bag.
Hello, good morning, good evening, good night, dear listener. Once again, you have flushed the toilet that is marked, good Lord, sir, what have you eaten? And found yourself in the old oil house one more time. Once again, unfortunately, I have not kept the receipts for both Dark Ages and the lovely Mr. Rob. And I haven't been able to get them back yet. But that's fine, because I have a ticklish man to my side who is here to help me in this endeavour today. Ticklish man, introduce yourself.
Yes. Hi, it's me, it's Tricky. I hate Dirk.
But we are not alone this day, oh no, for we have a special guest here to have tea and crumpets with us. Special guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, it's Mairghread Wild Scott, here to talk some Transformers and other madness.
I like the other madness. Don't give away all the fun. People might be sitting here thinking, yes, he sounds most normal and brilliant, and we shall sit here and listen to this. But no, won't be able to drag them in now. Drag them into the whirling maelstrom that we have in my head. So, for anybody out there who is foolish and doesn't know who you are, could you introduce and answer the question, who is Mairghread Scott?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I'm a writer on Transformers. I've written Transformers, everything from small ebooks for your children to devilishly evil comic books for not your children. TV shows, younger TV shows, bizarre fan fiction that no one can prove. And
Well, I know where we're starting today then.
Other than that, I live my life out here in sunny Southern California and partake in everything from pole dancing to cross stitch.
I don't know how to respond to that sentence. From pole dancing to cross stitch.
Well, not at the same time.
Oh, right. Well, that's all right then. I was trying to work out how you'd be upside down and cross stitching.
I had this idea about cross dancing and pole stitching.
Just welding pipes together and trying to dance around them. Some kind of giant spider web of pipes.
Yeah.
It's like a steampunk paganism, I guess.
You have my interest. Please, tell me more about your steampunk paganism.
Yes. Yeah, well, you weld up the maypole and then you just go nuts.
Weld up the maypole. Just going to leave that one hanging for a second. And then we'll jump on. So you said about you've written from ebooks to the Devil comics themselves. Which so far, in your mind, has been the most successful and the one you've enjoyed the most?
Oh, gosh. That's hard to say. They're all their own animals.
Mhm.
I love the comic books, though. Comics are a very special experience. Everything in TV is very planned out, because there's so many other departments. Comic books, you send out your proposal, they send you some notes, and you just go. And there are all these little threads that you tug on this thread, tug on that thread, and eventually it all there's a moment where it pulls itself together, and I love that moment.
That's more of a thing in comics, really, isn't it, than anything else? Just the moment where everything slots into place.
Oh, definitely. The hardest thing is the kids' books. Those are, God bless anyone who writes those. Those are a nightmare.
How so?
Well, when you write kids' books, they actually give you a list of words that you have to include in the book to test kids on their reading. So you're sitting there and you literally have a, the, far, close, big, small, and you have to try and figure out how to put that in a story. And it's really hard for Transformers because, Decepticon is a hard word to read.
Oh, wow. Have you ever thought about just playing with them a little bit and just trying to get Archaeopteryx in there?
Well, mostly I was just trying to figure out how to get just a full Prime story. Prime stories are really, involved, and I'm trying to break this down, and trying to figure out a way to say, Megatron doesn't like the Autobots because they were mean to him.
Well, and then Megatron removed his arm and replaced it with somebody else's arm.
Exactly. I would try to figure out a way to like gloss that over. And then they discuss harshly and fight a little, and maybe some people fall down and take a nap.
Yeah. And then Bulkhead cuddled the Viacons. He cuddled them so hard that they slept until the next morning.
Yes, exactly.
I like the idea of, and then Megatron took an arm, put it on himself. It was a big arm from a small corpse.
That was far away.
This corpse is close, that corpse is small. Yes. I've never thought about it like that, but yeah, children's books you'd have to really simplify everything right down. And Prime sits on the darker edge of narrative for a lot of its
I know.
stuff.
It's like writing haiku, but for stupid people.
This is a door. Actually, you think about See Spot Run. See Spot Run is a haiku. See Spot Run. Run Spot Run. Oh, man.
Yeah, but then for us, it's shoot, spot, shoot, fall down.
Shoot, spot, shoot. Eat Viacon's head. Good spot. Oh, God. This has gone to a dark place. I've never thought about it. But yeah, as I say, Prime's on the darker edge of the narratives when it comes to storytelling. That can't be easy. In the slightest.
It was a little tough, but in a way it was kind of the most satisfying because it was so hard. Like,
and once it was done, doing celebratory laps across the room. Yes.
Oh, I did totally. I'm just victory laps, some drinking, more victory laps.
And I'm far too much of a gentleman to mention anything about a rodeo bull at this point, so we'll just move on from that quickly.
Oh, that's going to live on forever, isn't it?
I'm afraid so.
Yes. We're a fan base.
Well, this fall, I'm going to have a new crazy adventure for you guys. Me and the production manager for Prime are going shark diving. So
your life is so much more interesting than mine. That's not fair. Where are you going shark diving at?
San Francisco, Alcatraz, that's one of the reasons that they never escaped. It's full of great white sharks. Yeah. So we're going to take a boat out past Alcatraz and go swim with great white sharks. So, not with them. Obviously in a cage with them on the other side of the cage.
You're going to Alcatraz to do... Right, screw comics. I want to know about this. This is far more interesting than anything I've done in years.
Well, that's the thing that people don't understand about being a writer is that, especially when you write action, I try and you're writing people doing all these crazy things. So you have to try and do as many of those crazy things as you can so that, so I have like an ongoing list that I'm always ticking off like, okay, I've got to learn how to fly a plane and then I'm going to try and learn, swim with sharks and stuff. And so I try and do all these wacky things so that I have some sense of what it's actually like to do them.
So what you're saying is at some point we're going to see Grimlock and Sharkticons.
Oh my gosh, that'd be awesome.
Just Grimlock in a cage, rattling it like Sharkticons swimming around. Yes.
Yeah, maybe I have to get my hand. Maybe there'll be a whole fleet of Sharkticons now. I'll have to integrate it somehow.
So you're a method writer, basically.
Yes, I am. I am a method writer. It does help, though. I took armored sword fighting for a couple of months, and that really, you can see that all in issue 3 of Rage of the Dinobots.
I remember when we reviewed Rage of the Dinobots, one of the things we did say was that the action flowed beautifully. That makes a lot of sense. I apologise for saying this, but you scare me a little bit now. I'm just a little bit terrified. Just worried. I'm convinced at some point we're going to see you just going up and down on the news riding a giant robotic T-Rex just to get the feeling right.
One day.
See, I understand this. This makes sense to me because I've done similar things where I learned archery because it looked like fun, and then I learned juggling because it looked like fun, and then I learned how to ride a unicycle and juggle, which is dangerous and difficult. And you meet
exactly.
You meet people who can then juggle with fire, and you go, I'm not that mad. No.
It's fun. Roller derby. I watch roller derby, and I'm like, no, I'm good. I can be okay. It's fun to watch, but I'm okay.
So you've mentioned Rage of the Dinobots there. Now,
always.
that was a comic that we reviewed over the Underbase, thanks to a little Irish man who was there with a moustache and waved flags going, "Come and do this!" And we all scuttered towards him in the way that we always do to small Irish men with moustaches. And we gave it a very favourable review. And I think one of the reasons for that was it was a different take on a story that we'd all, as older fans of the Dinobots and Transformers in general, we had seen that type of story before, but it had been given a new lick of paint and a new shine and new elements added to it. Was that a purposeful thing? I think a better way of asking this question is, how much of the stuff that had gone before had you read at that point?
Well, I'd read, I'd watched the original G1 episodes with the Dinobots, and I'd try and touch base on a few. I tried to read like at least 2 issues of, every sort of era that they popped up in. But we really knew that we had to stick to the video game. That the video game was going to be, the Fall of Cybertron was going to be our primary source material. And after a certain point, you just have to sort of decide, this is what I like about the Dinobots, this is what we want about the Dinobots, and make your choices from there. And we wanted it to feel like a Prime episode. So, there's a lot of juggling, but we wanted it to still feel like the Dinobots.
Mm-hmm.
So it was important to see how they had been represented. But some things just weren't going to work, and some things we totally wanted to work. For example, I think the Dinobots can be hilarious especially when they were really dumbed down. But that's, for us, because Prime characters are so smart,
Mm-hmm.
it was like, oh, well, if we ever get a chance to integrate these, they're not going to be able to interact on the same level. We wanted them to feel like they could be on the same level with the rest of the characters. So that's why we put in all that internal narration to make you realize that, they're not necessarily the best public speakers, but they actually do have a lot going on, under the hood.
Yeah. And I have to thank you for making Slag just awesome again.
Yes.
Oh.
He's so much fun. He's such a jerk.
Yes. I've always loved Slag. It's, in this country, that's a sentence you don't hear often. I've always loved...
It's what I'd expect from you, actually.
Oh, okay, fair dude. Thanks, Mark.
Yes, he's Slug. Officially, he's Slug.
He's Slug, but in my heart, he's always Slag. Hang on.
No, I like that, especially because it was a metal term.
Yeah.
I've always wondered, like, how slugs, like, there aren't any slugs on Cybertron. I mean, so I don't know, but okay.
You get metal slugs, don't you? And you get a slug is I always see it as being the used shotgun cartridge, that type of thing. It's a metal slug, but...
Oh, that's true. Yes, I did not think of that. But I always thought it was nice because I feel he's sort of... I don't know, once we knew he was called Slug, I liked the idea of always playing him as sort of almost the immovable object.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's the slag, the stuff you scrape off the top of molten metal, the stuff that doesn't melt on lava.
Yeah. That's how I like my Slag. I feel like I'm just digging myself in a hole with this one.
Moving on.
Moving on, and quickly too. The other thing, we were talking about this a couple of weeks back, and I think Tricky actually wants to bring it up at some point as well. There have been many Dinobot stories in the past. My personal favourite, and I think it's Tricky's as well, is What's in a Name.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you'd ever read that one.
I have not read that one.
If memory serves me right, it's actually
It's a prose story from the UK annual.
Yeah, I was going to say it was a UK one. And it has a lot to do with the Predacons, or Dive Bomb in Dive Bomb. I had to stop and think there. Is that the right name? All I have in my head is just the word slag. It's not good.
Well, it's always hard with Transformers too, because you have a lot of interlocking verbs. I remember when we got Shockwave, Soundwave, and Starscream all in a scene, the typos would just go up incrementally. No one could remember. It's like, oh, the shock sound and the star screaming wave. They're there.
I want to see the shock star screaming wave.
That's their combiner.
Oh God. Oh, please tell me that Shockwave would be the headmaster, but it's just Starscream's body.
Yeah. Oh, of course, he had a Starscream running it.
He's got this giant shockwave head. Oh man,
Have you read Spotlight Hoist yet, Adam?
I haven't.
Might want to read that.
It looks really good.
Oh.
I'm always at least 2 weeks behind. So, but
Yeah. No, there's a
it's in my
combiner in
file.
there. Yeah, there's a combiner in there, which is pretty much what you just described.
I am full of joy.
Yes, I love combiners.
I always love the idea, and I forgot where I picked it up, but I love the idea that essentially being a combiner essentially drives you a little bit insane.
Oh yeah.
That I just think that's a fantastic concept.
Have you?
Yeah.
I was just wondering there. Have you ever read the old? I don't want to say fan comic because it was a proper release with a DVD. It's called The Beast, and it deals with the Dinobots combining.
That didn't happen.
Oh,
It is
what did they combine into?
The Beast.
Just which I assume is like a Godzilla type.
No.
It was a hot mess.
Yes, a
Oh,
big
okay.
sticky hot mess. It is universally panned as being terrible. I'm
Well,
assuming
now I have to do it.
it's worth reading just to see how not to do it. I think.
Well, see, if they combined into a hot mess, that could be really cool. You could have sort of a The Thing story, like
Yeah.
with like a big creature running around with no real head or arms or anything.
Oh
A
yeah,
giant mess.
you have read it then, right? It was.
the
You've
only-
got to redeem these things. That's my favorite. I love Transformers, and so many of the Transformers characters are so great. My favorite thing is when you get just to the weird bits, and you're like, all right, let's bring this in,
All right, okay. If you want weird things, are you familiar with the W cassettes?
Yes. Oh God, yeah.
I
Ah.
love these things. These are so cool.
Oh my gosh, how? But you'd have to keep them as cassettes.
Oh, the dinosaurs as well, and they're a combined humanoid figure. They can do stuff.
Oh man, they would be cool. I could bring those back.
Yeah, and Japan's just weird enough to actually come up with these things.
Oh, the best ones are always. I love the Japanese fusors and stuff where it's. Maybe they didn't start in Japan. I remember the one where it's an orca and it's Eleforca.
Yep.
Yeah.
Turns into an elephant or an orca just with tusks.
Yeah.
Like you do.
Yeah, Adam loves Beast Wars too.
I really do.
Well, I always just love the fusors because I grew up with Beast Wars, and the idea was that your spark fell and sort of absorbed something nearby it. So when you got to the really weird fusors, I always like to think that your spark just fell in the most bizarre place ever. Like, where was there an orca? And I know it's not actually how it works. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to think in my mind, there was like, oh my gosh, it fell into the ocean and an orca swam up and then an elephant was like, no, I want that.
Well, obviously the spark fell. The capsule it was in knocked into a cliff where there was an elephant staring out wistfully at sea. Elephant went into the sea, grabbed hold of a orca whale on the way down. Spark hits them both. Ta-da!
Exactly.
But I was.
Although, how do you do injector, though? My favorite one. The
Uh,
bee in an anglerfish.
Um.
A tiny bee corpse making its way all the way down through the marine column.
No, it's the other way round. There was a what do you call it? A water spout, and it grabbed hold of loads of fish and flung them across the fields of a long green area where it knocked into a bee's nest, and then the spark fell onto it.
This one's easy. There was a fire, and one of those fire planes dipped its bucket into the ocean, picking up an anglerfish, and then dumped it in a forest where it met a bee. Ta-da.
Wouldn't that be half dead diver, half bee then? We would possibly be the worst transformer known to man. What do you turn into? Kill me!
Well, it'd be like that wonderful. Remember when the Venture Brothers did the Fantastic Four, and the Johnny Storm would just catch on fire, but he would feel it.
It burns.
Oh, I love Venture Brothers so very, very much. Oh, I've completely forgotten where I was going.
I don't care. What other cartoons do you like?
Oh gosh. Well, it's it's funny. You have to watch a lot of them I have to watch a lot of cartoons for work, which is great.
Yep.
But then you have like your favorites. Oh, it's still near and dear to my heart, even though no one else cares. Is Sailor Moon. I miss Sailor Moon. I'm so glad they're bringing it back. The hair. At one point she's fighting a hairdryer monster.
Okay.
But I respect anything where no Sailor Moon fan likes Sailor Moon. Everyone wanted whoever their person was to be in charge. No one liked the main character.
I'm trying to work out if a girl fighting a hairdryer is sexist.
Let's not go there. That was great. Batman the Animated Series was obviously really cool. I grew up with Power Rangers. Not Power Rangers though, which I did grow up with, and which was fine. Although no one liked the Pink Power Ranger. I have a deep hatred of the Pink Power Ranger. But Captain Planet. Oh my gosh.
Oh, he's a hero.
Did you guys watch Captain Planet?
Oh yes.
Yes.
Captain Planet was fantastic. I used to watch it and then freak out about the environment. So my parents ended up hating Saturday mornings because by the time they woke up, I'd be digging through the trash like, we're not recycling enough.
I always remember turning on Captain Planet one morning and just seeing this episode, which was all about a kid who had contracted HIV. And it was horrendously heavy-handed going back to it now. But I remember at the time sitting there with the remote control in my hand, just staring at the TV with my jaw shivering a little bit, going, huh? What?
Thank God you're not a hypochondriac.
You don't want to go down that thing.
Well, they used to get away with a lot of stuff. I mean, if you watch the old 90s X-Men cartoon, like, there's basically that whole Morlocks episode is really does Storm or Callisto have the right to rape Cyclops?
To be fair, it's Cyclops, nobody cares.
No one asked Cyclops. This is not a voluntary thing. They're just fighting over who owns him.
Well, that's the 90s, though, isn't it? The 90s cartoon scene was one where the boundaries were being tested left, right, and centre just to see what it is that you could pull out. And you look at some of the things that were coming out in the mid-90s. I mean, did you ever watch Mighty Max?
Oh, yeah. I watched Mighty Max, but my husband is obsessed with Mighty Max.
He's a good man and deserves a medal. Anybody who enjoys Mighty Max to the same level as I do deserves medals and a fancy hat.
With an M on it.
Indeed.
Not to be confused with Mario.
The name is Max.
Although, you know what I missed? I never really watched She-Ra. I feel like I need to go back and watch that, because I've heard that it's just... There's something about, like, I'm going to ride a Pegasus and fight... Wasn't it like aliens shooting lasers?
Pretty much.
Love that.
I think the funniest thing about She-Ra is the fact that if you ever listen to Swiftwind's voice, he sounds like a 40-year-old tramp who's been drinking meths for the last 4 weeks. There's just this wonderful sequence in, I think it's Secret of the Sword, where she just goes, "We must stop the monsters." Okay, then. He's bloody hell.
You could get away with stuff like that. See, now when you write cartoons, everything has to have a semblance of realism. I remember I was watching this great Bollywood film, and at one point, the main character is surfing on a motorcycle shooting at ninjas on either side of him. And I was like, oh my gosh, we have to do that for G.I. Joe. And that's Snake Eyes surfing motorcycles shooting other ninjas also on motorcycles. And they were like, no, that's not quite realistic enough. And it was like, no.
Out of interest, was the film Enderan? Enderan the Robotic Terminator?
I've never seen that.
It's a Bollywood retelling of a cross between Terminator, the first Transformers movie, and possibly Back to the Future.
No, the film was Krish, which is it's a Bollywood film, a Bollywood superhero film. And just to let you know is that I first saw it in college at a film festival because my roommate and I were trying to decide what film to watch. There was like 3 at the same time, and we were like, let's watch the trailers. And the trailer for Krish is just a very slow pan from this attractive man running from his eyes to his navel. Like, that's it. And then just boom, Krish. And we were like, all right, I'm sold.
So you were the target audience.
Yes, we were clearly the target audience. But no, it's a fantastically amazing movie. I mean, there was pirates, there was a circus at one point.
Yep. This sounds Bollywood.
Like, there's always a point where everyone just stops whatever they're doing and starts dancing, which I really wish would happen in real life. But
a few years ago, a friend
it's
of mine.
4 hours long, so I can never convince anyone to watch it with me. But I just think everyone should see this movie.
Seeing as we're talking about movies and dancing, Adam, do you want to?
I'm just thinking about dancing superheroes.
Okay.
I'm just going to sit here thinking about Batman doing the bat dance, but to a Bollywood theme. Yeah.
I'm sure that happened.
I remember a few years back, one of my mates decided to show me a Bollywood movie, and that was the beginning of a long and slippery road. I have seen so much Bollywood now, it's rather painful.
Well, they have the same wonderful thing that a lot of 80s and early 90s cartoons have, which is Bollywood movies are completely unabashed about what you want, you know? We're going to throw this and this and this. You thought this didn't make sense? Just enjoy the ride.
Oh, they're wonderful for it. It's absolutely fantastic. I remember seeing one where the first half of it, this is a 3-hour movie. The first half, it was all about a young singer-songwriter guy who was making headway and getting romantic with the main character, and then he died. But they found his exact double, who was a better singer, and so she carried on the relationship with him.
So she just traded up.
Yeah, she just traded up. She left her drowning boyfriend and found a new one. It was a very strange film. Loved it.
I like the idea that these are written like you were describing children's books before. So someone's just throwing cards at the writer saying it must include ninjas and motorbikes and the ocean. Go.
I suppose we better drag this back on track.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Why?
Well, you know, we can sit here talking about dolphins and the CIA for all you want. It's entirely.
No.
I noticed that you've done a episode of Rescue Bots as well.
Yes, yeah, I've done a couple. I don't know if the second one has aired yet, but yeah, the first one is I think it ended up being called the Griffith Rock Triangle.
Mm-hmm.
So, which was sort of my take on the abyss.
That was the one with the female explorer stranded in the water?
Yes, yeah,
Yes.
Veranova. That's me trying to be lighthearted.
Okay.
Well, what was it like writing for Rescue Bots compared to writing for Prime?
Well, it's a lot funnier. No, it was lots of fun, and also because they have a lot more room to work with. You know, I was so excited to be able to do an episode with water. You just can't do anything with water in CG.
Yeah.
You can maybe have some water over there, but you know, so they were like, what do you want to do for Rescue Bots? And I was like, ocean. So
please tell me that's exactly how the meeting went.
Exactly. Ocean! All right, let's do this. And then he got on a motorcycle and pulled out two
Best episode ever. Killing ninjas underwater on a motorbike. Yep, I'm in.
He was actually cycle.
But it's actually it was really fun, especially because the character dynamics are so different. You know, by and large, the characters on Prime pretty much get along, but it was kind of fun that the Rescue Bot characters, you know, they don't exactly get along with each other, so you can really sort of play that up.
Well, the siblings, really, aren't they?
You get to play all the little alien things. Like, I loved being able to add the thing where they don't know what Roman numerals are, and we can't find this at all.
Staying with the TV for a little bit, just to move over. G.I. Joe Renegades. What happened? Where did it go? Please tell me.
So we're not allowed to talk about that.
Oh, all right then.
No, I didn't write on that show. I was supposed to, but no, we did not get a second season. So But the story editors on that show went to do great things. So Henry went off to do the Hulk Agents of Smash, and Marty went off to go do Kaijudo. So that was a lovely show, though. I really missed that show.
Yeah.
I loved Baroness. She was so wonderful. She had the best coat. She was fantastic.
I was always upset that there was never a proper shipwreck. I just wanted a shipwreck episode, preferably where he blew up an orphanage. Because that's what
had a shipwreck episode.
he was in there, but
Yeah.
But I really wanted an episode that was just shipwreck.
Oh, there was just shipwreck.
It was just
well,
shipwreck
yeah.
wandering around, doing his thing, blowing up an orphanage and talking to his parrot.
You just want a shipwreck episode where he's at the bar, just drinking, talking to his parrot.
Yes, correct. I want to see drunken shipwreck complaining about how his life has all gone horribly wrong.
Now, see, does it have to be the parrot? Because I thought it's really interesting, the new reinvention where the parrot is
It's
a surveillance drone.
Yeah.
Polly.
That'll work.
Or is it cool with that, or do you just actual parrot? Do you need like a cybernetic parrot? Would that be okay?
A cybernetic parrot would be beautiful, as long as it could talk back and just tell
Sort
shipwreck
of
to sober
Chew
up.
style.
Like from Attack of Clash of the Titans, the original one with Archimedes.
Oh, I was actually thinking more like, have you ever read the comic Chew? How all the agents have like half cybernetic animals as their companions.
I think I've just fallen in love with this idea.
I want a show about witches where all our familiars are robots.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh, man, it'd be called Witches in the 41st Century. Witches 4045. There we go.
I
Salem.
don't write about witches that often.
Witches
I'm working on a
90210.
project with witches right now, but that's sort of the first time I've really written about witches.
Okay. Interesting.
So we'll have to keep an eye out for something witch-based from you then. Interesting. Heard here first.
Exactly. No, it's me and there's this really wonderful artist out here called Eliza Fry, and we're doing a reimagining of Macbeth. We're adapting it from the three witches' points of view.
Ooh.
So
Very interesting. Yes.
it's a very it's a lot more horror and a lot more,
Well, it's a tragedy for them.
creepy. Yes, it's a tragedy for them. Oh, it's a very neat story.
I'm very, very interested. Ooh.
Adam would like to subscribe to your newsletter.
I'm actually just sitting here throwing my wallet at my screen. Just send me these. Why is my
That's not how you
screen
pay
Yeah,
for
break?
but it also lets me it lets me collect even more useless knowledge. I was sitting there trying to research cuneiform forever.
Well, obviously you will now have to go buy
Which
a
is
cauldron.
Sumerian.
You need a cauldron, a cat, some sort of hat, maybe a broom.
Well, see, I own a cauldron and a broom, but I can't have a cat because my husband's allergic to pets, and my hat I left back in Detroit. It's very sunny out here, so you don't really want to have too big a hat.
I like how you're talking to two British people and keep mentioning the sun. Yes, we're jealous.
We're familiar with it, we just don't know it that well.
There is a slight bright light in the sky, but it's being hidden by the clouds.
I'm sorry, I don't. It's you have the healthcare. We have to have something in Los Angeles. Well, everyone is always so mean about Los Angeles, I feel like. Everyone, LA, it's the traffic and the fake people. But you're like, no, but the food's great and the sunshine. Like, it's very nice out here.
These are two things I like, food and sunshine. So
Exactly.
we'll be round in half an hour.
Good, I'll have huevos rancheros ready.
Or somebody on the roof with a gun. Either or.
No,
Exactly.
Huevos
Can you
Rancheros is
guys
a
get
attack dog.
huevos rancheros in England? You must.
Not to my knowledge.
No?
No.
Oh my god. It's the most amazing dish ever. It's first of all, it's the best thing to eat if you've ever had a hangover. Ever. Everyone listening to this should, if you wake up in the morning and you're feeling a little off, huevos rancheros. It's basically eggs and goo. But it's the most delicious goo you have ever eaten in your life.
I don't know, I've had some delicious goo in my time.
I'm going towards Eggs Benedict, that type of thing.
It is. It's two fried eggs over tortilla over a tortilla with ranch and roja sauce, red sauce. Sometimes one of the eggs will get a green sauce, a salsa verde, and then it comes with a side of beans and vegetable rice. So it is so delicious.
Yeah.
And then they give you, you make a little improv sandwich taco type thing, and you go to town.
Yeah, maybe a little wasabi with that.
Oh, God.
Good God, I'm getting hungry.
Wasabi?
Just to spice it up a bit.
Well, see, yes, you've stumbled upon my secret passion, which is food. See, my friends always joke that I should never be a comic book writer. I should be a food writer because I spend all my life describing different things that I've eaten. So
Yeah.
one day I'll tell you about the 27 layer smoked cake.
What? Tell me about this now. This
I used to
sounds
live in
amazing.
Manhattan, and there was a book that I got for my birthday, which was called The 100 Best Desserts in New York. And so I decided to eat my way through the book. I only made it about halfway. I have to admit, I was very sad. It's like one of my greatest failings. But one of them was there's a cake at a steakhouse, and it's a chocolate cake where with a very thin sort of gel-like frosting. And what they do is they cut the cake not into one layer or two layers. They cut the cake into like 27 wafer-thin layers of cake, which each has a thin layer of frosting underneath. And what they do, though, is they leave the cake next to the grill. So the cake absorbs the smoke coming off the steak. And so it becomes, the only way to describe it is the sluttiest cake you've ever eaten.
Oh, man.
It's that dark chocolate flavor, and then this sort of very, very creamy, silky kind of, almost liquid smoke frosting on it, and you just feel like your mom shouldn't watch you eat this cake,
So, given the choice, would you rather have 2 starters or 2 desserts?
2 desserts. I
Yes.
would have to say 2 desserts. But then also the 2 starters. Only the 2 desserts first, because you could die in the middle of the meal and then never make it to dessert. It has to have that be. And you joke that couldn't happen, but I've had fried Mars bars and finished one and thought, I might not make it. But that's okay.
Yeah, you've got to be careful with the temperature of those. They're like
Have you ever
McDonald's
had
apple
those where
pies.
you eat one of those and you can just feel feel the
Arteries
arteries
hardening, yeah.
up a little? Yeah, and you're just like, you gotta like squeeze your hand to like get the blood pumping again.
It is that feeling when it's sort of in your hand, it's approaching your face, and you're thinking, I know this is a bad idea,
Yeah.
but I need to experience this.
No, yeah, it is always a good idea. Fried Mars bars, very much worth it. Much better than fried Snickers. I know the Transformers community is going to be very divided on this, but I'm just going to put it out there.
Out of interest, do you over there in sunny California get black pudding?
No, I mean we have it. I've seen it around, like I've seen it on some British menus, but we don't. I've never had it yet.
Because you're saying there about the best thing to have for a hangover, bacon and black pudding.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
Now is black pudding the one where it's curdled blood?
Essentially,
pretty
yes.
much.
Awesome.
It is so full of iron that within half an hour you are just, I am alive.
It's kill or cure.
Yeah. I am a god and I shall stride.
Yeah, Americans are very squeamish about blood in our food. I don't know why, but
Plus over here we're, just put me in a cow and I'll eat my way out.
yeah, that's the way to live.
I want to be inside
It's
a cow
funny
with a blowtorch.
Exactly. It's funny, we always take our friends to dim sum and they're like, oh, what's this? Just eat it.
That's all
Don't
you need
ask.
to know. Yes, 2 hands, no waiting.
Yeah.
There is nothing quite as good as just pouring Thai food into your mouth without using forks. Ah. Oh man. I really want some Thai food now. God damn it. Right. Food.
No, dim sum is Chinese.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was just thinking about a Thai
Oh,
restaurant.
you just jump.
There's a Thai restaurant just down the road from me and it is gorgeous.
I don't eat enough Thai food. I have a list. I have another list, along with lists of things to do before I die. I have a list of things I try and do every year. And one of the things I try and do every year is eat a new animal. And I've got to put. I feel like Thai food must have some new animal that I've not eaten yet in it.
Do you? I think you do. Have you? We have South African restaurants here.
Very few. I don't know. I haven't seen them around, but it's Los Angeles, so they've got to be here somewhere.
Must be, yeah. But now they have several animals that we can tick off your list. Things like springbok and alligator and things.
Oh, I don't like alligator. Alligator just tastes like chicken that's been left out next to fish for a while.
Next to a swamp, yeah.
I mean, it's fun, but...
Yeah, it's one of those things that people eat to say they've eaten.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I have been wanting to try springbok. I like elk a lot, so...
Yeah. Have you got the blowfish route yet?
Oh... No.
No.
I do a lot of dangerous, stupid things, but that is a little high on my dangerous, stupid graph.
Yeah, I don't want to die because somebody in the kitchen was incompetent.
Exactly.
If you throw yourself out of a plane and the chute doesn't open, that's fair enough. But somebody else messing up now.
It's just too quick, because I feel like, if you go shark diving and the shark gets in the cage or something like that, you have a chance to swim away. But with the blowfish, if you eat it and the guy screwed up, there's no chance for you. You are removed from the equation.
Yeah. With sharks, by the way, you punch them in the eye, not the nose.
Oh, I heard it was the nose.
No, this is a fallacy. Punch them in the eye.
Oh, thank you so much. If I make it to October, it'll be because of you.
If you one comes too close to you, just punch in the eye. That's from Tricky. Yeah. Take it. What's the most exotic animal you've eaten then, out of interest? There are vegetarians around the world who are now just shuddering and crying and wishing that we would stop talking. But I'm interested in this. I'm a big fan of
I know.
meat.
I'm so sorry. I've gotten to love vegetables a lot more. But my grandmother, her philosophy of cooking was if it didn't try to get away, it's not worth eating.
So bananas are fine because they move, but
If the banana's moving, you're in the wrong place.
banana
Yeah.
plants move. Banana plants migrate each year.
Yeah, the plant does, but the actual banana itself, when you go closer and try and grab it out of the fruit bowl, it doesn't jump at you and try and fight you off.
I wonder what that
In our defense too, that science has proven that carrots do scream when you cut them. So it's not all cruelty on one side there.
So back to the question: most exotic animal.
Oh, the most exotic animal I've ever eaten. Well, see, it's pretty. I've had frog, which is exotic out here. It's not exotic where you guys are, but let's see, frog, elk, ostrich. Ostrich is very nice.
Ostrich is gorgeous.
Love octopus is okay. Had various types of bits of things. Chicken feet actually quite good, but not worth the effort.
Okay.
So, well, they're basically they're delightful in that they're basically fried chicken skin around a bone, but there's so many little bones that I get bored after a while.
It's a lot of effort. Yeah.
Exactly. You're like, just give me.
It's like clams. Anything that I could potentially slit my wrist with the item I'm opening it with, I'm not that interested in.
Oh, I won't eat any clams. I had a very bad experience with clams, so that's not.
Yeah.
I guess the best thing, crab eggs. That's the most
Ooh.
exotic thing.
Never had crab
I
eggs.
love me some good crab eggs.
I discovered recently, and this is something that blows my mind, that if you go back to the 1800s, lobster was thought of as being a poor person's meal.
Yes, yeah, they'd serve it in prison.
Yeah, and I can't get my head around the fact that due to nothing else other than marketing, lobster is now this very expensive thing that you get for special occasions. But
Have you ever had unseasoned lobster?
I don't. Yes, because my dad used to just go next door, grab lobsters from the fishermen that lived there, and throw them straight into the pan.
What, you just ate them without any butter or anything?
Yeah, we'd just crack the thing open and start chewing.
Oh, right. I've always thought they were tasteless like that.
No, I'm a big fan of lobster. Don't like crab as much, but lobster.
Oh, see, I'm a big fan of crab, but I don't like lobster as much, which saves me a lot of money.
We probably should venture back towards Transformers at some stage.
No, I want to sit here and talk about food. Food is an interest of mine.
Well, You know that my wife's a food writer, so I can do this all day.
Okay then. So we'll head back to the comics because Tricky's boring.
If you want to discuss foie gras, we can do it.
Oh, I've heard there's actually a humane guy in Spain doing humane foie gras, where apparently the secret is to trick the geese into thinking that they're wild and that winter is always coming, so they will gorge themselves.
Yeah, it's ethically that's dubious. Just because a duck or a goose thinks it's winter doesn't mean it's right.
That's true. All right, so back to Transformers.
So, comic books, which is where a lot of hype is coming from at the moment. How does it feel to suddenly find yourself working alongside, well, not alongside, but you're putting out work alongside the work that James Roberts and Alex Milne's doing and John Barber and Andrew Griffiths is doing. So you're now part of a trifecta of Transformers comics that are coming out at the moment. That's got to be something that might have been a bit daunting to start with.
It is very. I try not to think about it, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Way to bring it up.
I apologise for any
no,
anxiety attacks you now may have.
It's a little daunting, but the nice thing is sort of you have this outside pressure of everyone else is really good, but it's such an insulated world that when you're actually writing it, you know, you can try and put that aside, which is really all you can do because I would just explode from the stress.
The ongoing is still enough in people's minds for you to have quite a bit of leeway for at least another year or so. Because the ongoing
I'm very excited about the ongoing coming up. I'm very excited about Beast Hunters. So, but it stinks because we wrote it so long ago, and I'm like, just read it, just be out. Someone, it's like, you know, it's like asking someone out on a date, but then they are like, okay, well, 6 months from now, I'll come back to you.
So instead of calling the next day, he's calling 6 months.
Sure, I've had that response in the past, you know. Positive, I've had that response.
Did they know it was you when they called you back? Cause
No, they never called me back. They left me sitting by the river through the rain and the snow. Oh, to be young again. But anyhow, the mystery character that appears in the teaser.
Which someone got. Someone on the internet. I scoured through. Someone figured it out. They are getting they're getting all of the variant covers that go with that issue sent to them. So.
Can you announce it then, or do we still have to wait?
Oh, well, this is going to air after. Is this airing after the issue comes out?
This will be airing probably end of next week.
And if no, then I can't say anything.
Oh!
Then it's still a mystery. Although it's funny because I was like, oh, who's the mystery character? And my writing partner pointed out, just like, you know, you actually introduced like 3 new characters in that episode. Going on about the one, but it's like, but only one of them had a really nice silhouette shot. Which is especially fun to do with Transformers fans because, you know, the Transformers, especially when you talk about redesign, you see a silhouette and it could be anyone.
It's true enough. Yeah.
Everyone's got a lot of different theories. Oh, maybe it's this person if you moved this and this, you know, or
so,
it's totally this person.
The person who got it right, was it their only
It was
choice?
their second guess.
The second guess. So I've given you about 200. I've got them all completely wrong. And
I know, I'm kind of disappointed.
You're disappointed. I'm disappointed myself. I'm just not good enough.
Well, it's all right. We're going to do this again. So next time I introduce a new character, we'll do another round.
Will he have a triangular head, and will he turn into a wheel?
It's not a wheel, it's a truck.
No, Adam's talking about something else.
Yes, a certain character that I'm not allowed to mention the name of anymore, considering the outburst I got from Twitter.
Yes. Yeah. Well, go nuts with that, because that guy's fate's already been sealed.
Oh, why do you hate me?
I just hope we see Signal answer again at some point. He's a stop sign.
Oh,
He's a stop sign. Ooh, that's nice. I'm gonna actually I want to get a list going of just random.
Well, Adam has a list of underrated robots.
yeah, just give me 2 seconds and I will grab you the underrated robot list.
We went through the various bits of the fiction and pulled out the unfortunates, those who were not blessed when they handed out alt modes.
Well, that definitely sounds like the kind of people the Dinobots would hang out with. So yes, I do want to say if anyone out there has a Transformer that they want to see, come
Scrounge.
back, go nuts.
Please, give him.
All right, maybe I'll bring Scrounge back. I'm not committing to anything.
I do have a geeky question to ask, which you may or may not be able to answer. Is
Sure.
this in Prime continuity? Is Sea Spray dead?
As far as we know, yeah.
Because
Yes,
because Makeshift tells us that, and Makeshift is not a wrecker. For want of a better term.
Well, Makeshift. Wait, does Makeshift? I thought it was that Wheeljack says that he was looking for Sea Spray when he comes back in season 2, and that Dreadwing killed him.
Oh, possibly.
In
I would
space.
have to watch it again.
Yeah, don't try and outprime me.
I just want Sea Spray back.
Well, you and Dwayne. See, Dwayne had it. Our story editor has a real love of Sea Spray. Like,
Sea Spray is awesome. Is there anybody that you want to bring back and put in there that you haven't been able to yet?
oh, I tried to put Optimus's wife back in. That got shut down.
I love the idea of Optimus, like Prime having a wife.
No, there was a whole. Well, it was a mention in Stronger Faster, or the original draft that I wrote. There was the tipping point line was Ratchet was going to mention. He lists all the people that haven't made it, and he was going to mention Aletta 1, and he was like, "You remember what happened to Aletta 1?" And I was going to have Optimus Prime punch him in the face. Which my story editor Dwayne thought was the most hilarious scene ever, which I had not intended to be comedic. So,
Yeah.
so we decided not to have it.
Oh, that is a shame. I would have liked to seen that. Even better if Ratchet just started throwing photos at him. It's like, remember her?
Just a string of as if Optimus Prime rolls into town and grabs a new. Oh, hang on a second. Guess who's calling me? Livio, our great Transformers artist.
Yeah, we know Livio.
We know Livio well. We like Livio.
Livio, what's up? All right, great. I'll be out in a second. All right, bye. Well, actually, because it is Free Comic Book Day here in America, Livio and I are going to go sign some comics. Or by that, I mean he's going to be gushed over by fans, and I'm going to be sitting in the corner. Hello, I read them.
Well, let Livio know that we at the Old Oil House remember him, and we're waiting. We're waiting for him. We shall get him again one day. Well, if you have to get away, then thank you very much for your time.
No, thank you so much for having me. It has been as bizarre a ride as you promised.
It probably would have been more bizarre, but I am very tired tonight, unfortunately. I haven't been able to get the full muster of Strange going.
What time is it actually over there?
It's now 8:30.
Ah, at night.
Yes.
Saturday night?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's...
I never remember what day we are in terms of the date line.
Oh, yeah.
Between England and Japan, I can never remember what time anything's supposed to be.
So I'm in England, and I can never remember what day it is in England myself. So that's absolutely fine. So just before you go then, if there's any place that you'd like people to be able to find you, please pimp it out now.
Yes. You can find me on Twitter at Mairghread Scott, and you can find me on Tumblr at mscottwrites is my Tumblr, and I don't Facebook much, so don't look for me there, but I'm around. I will answer any question that I can. I will answer 3 questions that I'm not allowed to, and yeah, just drop me a line.
Well, hopefully we can get you back on at some point to talk about the Beast Hunters once a few issues are out and about.
Most definitely. You guys will either love me or hate me, and we can duke it out either way.
Gladiators, are you ready? Right, so I understand that you have to go now, so thank you very much for your time, and we'll hope to speak to you again.
All right, have a good one, guys.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
And we are clear.
You can say that I'm a one curly pie in the box of the regular, messing with the flavor, oh the flavor that you savor, saving me for last, but you better not eat me at all. Living in a fast food bag, making friends with the ketchup and salt. Oh, people say that I'm crazy for not moving on to better things instead of sitting around trash talking with the onion ring, but it's much too soon to leave this easy life. Pass me the spoon, pass the analytical knife. You're about to get cut up or get cut down. It's all about the wordplay, all about the sound of my tone. The voice, you gotta let me make my choice alone before my food gets cold and shut up or get shot down. It's all about the know-how or just a matter of taste. Stop telling me the way I gotta play now. Too much food on my plate. My sights on a surprise in a cereal box. My stomach's smaller than my eyes, so I went to see the doctor and he said, turn my head and then cough. I didn't listen to what he said, instead I couldn't wait to get off. He said, I can have this, but I can't have that. I should keep wishing I was living the life of a cat, but I ain't the one who's gonna be missing the feast. Just like you ain't the one who seems to be calming the beast. Now you're about to get cut up or get cut down. It's all about the wordplay, all about the sound of my tone and my voice. You gotta let me make my choice alone before my food gets cold. Better shut up or get shot down. It's all about the know-how or just a matter of taste. Stop telling me the way that I gotta play. You're putting too much food on my plate, come on. Get cut down. It's all about the know-how or just a matter of taste. Stop telling me the way that I gotta play. You put